and welcome to the Save Point Podcast. I am Dan, joined here by Steve. How's it going, Steve?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Great. This is episode 16. We're going to be talking some Red Dead Redemption 2 and some of our favorite Halloween, horror, gory, fun games that we like to play. Actually, our top 3. If you want to get in on the discussion with us, come and join our Discord. We'd love the interaction. Come and just voice your opinion on that, on a whole bunch of other things, a whole bunch of other games also. You can find that really on any place that you're downloading us from, so iTunes or Google or wherever at. So, look for that link. Best place would be Podbean also, that hosts our site. So the link would be right there. So just click on that link, join our Discord, and join in the discussion. And we'll start off every kind of podcast, every kind of episode with what are we playing? So, Steve, what were you playing this past week?
Oh, man. I'm still creeding them assassins.
Still creeding them assassins?
Yeah, man. I haven't really had time to play much else. It's just been all Assassin's Creed every chance I get. That game is huge. It is so big. I'm up to level 20 now. And I just took down, minor spoilers for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I just took down my first Sage. If you're playing, you should know what that is about now, because I figure I'm behind the curve because I don't get to play as often as others who really care about Assassin's Creed. I just took down my first Sage today. It was awesome. It was really cool. And, I can't wait to play more. And I'm not going to be able to play more very soon because more games are coming.
Yeah, so they're coming. The Broke October is happening.
It's so fat. Like, I have already bought 2 more games, right? Like, I remember an era where I would buy a video game and I'd be like, yeah, this is my game for the next 2 months. I'm going to play this game every chance I get and absorb and suck out the marrow, the bones of this game until it's a dry, dead husk. And now I'm just like, I touch it and I go, oh, I touched it. Okay, where's the next one? And I touch it a little bit. Oh, that's fine. Where's the next one? It's just like candy now. It's weird. Bones and candy.
Bones and candy.
I did hop on to the Xbox Game Pass, and they added a couple of games that I've heard about, and I downloaded them so that I will be able to play them one day eventually, maybe, perhaps. One of them was the Hello Neighbor, which I've seen the crazy looking dude around a bunch, but I have no idea what the gameplay is.
Okay.
I think it's Hello Neighbor. That sounds familiar, but maybe I got that wrong. And the other one is Observer, which is a weird, cyberpunky thing. Again, not very well known, but I've heard tell, and so I knew about it, so I just went ahead and downloaded it. So I've got 2 new games downloaded, and I just haven't got a chance to play them yet because Assassin's Creed.
Because Assassin's Creed is right there.
And it is called Hello Neighbor. It's a 7 out of 10 on Steam. Okay, sure.
Oh, nice. I gotta check that out. I gotta figure out. That sounds just the title seems intriguing.
Yeah, it's got a creepy looking dude and a crow. Yeah. Anyways, it's October. This is our spooktacular episode. So let's talk about creepy things.
So speaking of creepy things and creepy guys, Dan, what have you been playing?
Yeah, Dan, you creep. What have you been playing, you weirdo?
I've I haven't even picked up in over a week. I haven't even picked up Assassin's Creed. Nothing against it. Like I said, I think I'm just still burned out on the open world aspect. So I've been playing a shit ton of Call of Duty.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny. Just a side note, we were on the last episode. I was talking about my friend and how she plays zombies or whatever. So so she downloaded and listened to it, and she goes, "Why do you really name me Bruce?" I'm like, she goes, "Why?" She goes, "That is the most unattractive, ugly guy name."
What? No.
I'm like, you're gonna insult all of our Bruce named people, that listen to us. So I promised that I would give out her gamer tag so people can So get after her. No, I'm
Okay.
not kidding. I'm not going to.
Oh, I was like, yeah, what is it?
no,
She should
not
be.
going to give that out.
Listen, and if she's listening, hey, Bruce, you listen to me, Bruce. Bruce is the best name because it is Batman's name. Bruce Wayne. Like, how could you be insulted by that?
One.
Bruce Wayne. Come on.
That's
Also,
a good one.
the shark from, or the mechanical shark from Jaws, they named it Bruce. So there's that too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Bruce Banner, the Hulk.
Bruce look at it. Look at these awesome Bruces.
Yeah.
You know what? I challenge you, listener Bruce lady, to name a bad Bruce. Name me a bad Bruce. I'll be waiting.
Bruce.
Our Discord link is somewhere close.
Yes, yeah, Join the Discord. If you have an answer, let us know.
There are hashtag no bad Bruces.
No bad Bruces. We're not going to start the hashtag thing again, are we?
Nope, that was it. It's done.
That was it. Okay, are you sure?
No.
So no, I've just been playing a hell of a lot of Call of Duty. I love Kill Confirm, like I said, the last episode. So I've just been playing. When I've been able to hop on, I've been doing that. And it's just, I like it. I'm having fun with it. Some people are saying that the multiplayer aspect of it is like the multiplayer part of it, not the Blackout, which is the Battle Royale or the zombies. Like the zombies in the Battle Royale actually is getting the highest marks, and then it goes zombies, and then the multiplayer is just kind of the same old thing. But you know what? I kind of like the same old thing sometimes. And that's kind of how I've been, like the mood that I've been in.
Okay.
So just, give me some guns I can unlock and some double XP, and I'll take my Doritos and Mountain Dew and just, let's go.
Comfort gaming is there's nothing wrong with that. And,
No.
Different people have different comforts, and your comforts change with time. For me, definitely any kind of open world game is a comfort game to me. So like right now, any chance I get, hop into that Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And if I'm not in the mood to do a quest and whatever, I just wander around. And to me, that's relaxing and fun. And it's comforting. It's what I like to do. It's
Absolutely.
why I've liked, Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and New Vegas, big open world. Even the first two Fallouts are kind of open world-ish. Yeah. A little different loading screens, big map. But to just be in these worlds and live in these worlds, it's comforting. And, I don't want to jump to the thing we're going to talk about yet already, but Red Dead Redemption, the first game, even though I didn't finish it, that again was a world where I could just live in. You can just exist in it for a while and escape to it. And that's always fun. It's good time.
Absolutely.
Can I ask you a question about Call of Duty?
Sure.
So, it's been a long time since I played a Call of Duty game. And so this is Black Ops 4, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you said there's a zombie thing, the battle royale, and then you said regular multiplayer. What do you mean by regular multiplayer?
Your
death
regular
matches and
multiplayer.
stuff?
Yeah, it's like you have what is it? I think it's called Rush in Battlefield, which is or it's called Conquest.
Okay.
Or Contrast or something like that, and Call of Duty, that's like where you have like specific areas that you have to hold.
Okay, like zone A, zone B, that kind of thing.
Yeah. You have your free for all. You have your team deathmatch.
Okay.
You have the one, like I said, is kill confirm. So when you kill somebody, they drop a dog tag.
Okay.
So your kill does not count unless somebody picks up that dog tag. Or you do.
Oh, I see. So if you shoot somebody from across the map, you have to go pick up the dog tag or you don't get it.
Correct.
Nice. I like that.
And if somebody else picks it up, then that kill is denied.
Oh.
So it doesn't go after the kill count. So, I mean, you have these that's the one thing I really kind of hated about Team Deathmatch was that, like, after a while, it was like, oh my God, it's like, okay, I look and it's like, okay, I got 4 kills and we're already at 42 because the limit's always 60. So, like, I would go over, it's like, oh, it's like 42, 45. It's like, I only got 3 kills. I'm not going to, there's no way I'm going to get a good streak up.
Right.
But with this, I mean, I've gone down, match games could last 7-8 minutes. Easy. And sometimes sometimes it goes all the way down to like the last couple of seconds to actually get the last couple of kills if you're between 2 really good games. So that 10-minute like window really, and you playing, an online multiplayer first-person shooter, 10 minutes in a match is a long time.
That's a long time. Yeah, that's intense.
And it does. It gets really, really intense and all that because it's like you kill somebody and it's like, okay, who's going to go run after the dog tag? So, I mean, there's a whole different strategy to it. And I don't know. I was hooked on it the first year. I think that was Modern Warfare 3.
Okay.
It was the first time that it was introduced, and I've loved it ever since. It's what's made me stick to the Call of Duties. Like if they didn't come out with this type of multiplayer, I don't think I would have played any of the other ones at all. Like I probably wouldn't even have touched this one.
Okay.
Just because of that mode.
How's the zombie mode looking? I played a zombie mode. I don't remember which game it was, but it was like World War II-esque, and you were like stuck in a house, and you had to like build the barricades and last as long as possible. Is it still that style, or is it different now?
It's basically that kind of same style, but you're at different maps. Like the one that I played in is that you're in arena, like you're like at a medieval like Viking arena.
Oh, geez, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
With that, you still create barricades and all of that. It seems extremely cartoony to me.
Mm-hmm. But it's zombies though, so like, how serious do you want it, right?
True. I think the biggest gripe is that like I think the graphics look better in multiplayer than they do in zombies.
Oh, okay. You think they tweaked it down?
It's like the zombies look more cartoonish.
Do you are there ever a lot of them on screen at a time? Okay. I imagine their polygon count is just lower so that they can add more on the screen and it won't take away from performance at all. Just guessing. Just guessing. What's up?
So,
you look down.
Yeah, no, sorry. I got my cell phone was ringing, so I apologize.
Okay.
But no, yeah, I agree with you. I think I wouldn't say that it's overloaded with zombies, but you definitely have a lot more characters running around and trying to do animations, and with how fast you're trying to move.
Okay.
And that's the thing too, is that like they did it with like Left 4 Dead, where they put a whole bunch of zombies on screen, but they made them really, really fast. Like in here, they don't make them crazy fast.
Okay.
So I think it would just look awkward if they tried to put a lot of graphic into the zombie. So I think that's why they made it more cartoonish.
Okay. Okay, makes sense.
It's not bad though. It's really not bad.
If the gameplay is there, that's fine. Yeah. You want to hear something interesting about zombies? An interesting fact?
Sure.
True facts about zombies. One of the reasons, and this is a psychology thing, one of the reasons why the zombie trope of something that keeps coming after you no matter what is horrific to humans, specifically because we historically have been that kind of hunter. Humans have stamina. That's like one of many perks that we have over animals, that we can run an animal down just by staying after it.
True.
That was a way that, prehistoric man would hunt sometimes, is just to follow something until it got tired and then we could kill it. And we're the only ones that do that. There's no other animals on Earth that do that. So I think one of the reasons why the zombie thing is stuck around for so long, and why maybe like Terminator 2 was so awesome, is because there's that thing that is coming after you and it will not stop. There's nothing you can do to make it stop. It will just keep coming no matter what. And in our heads, that is absolutely horrific, because that's us. That's what we do to other things, and to have something do it to us is horrifying. And I think that's why that trope has stuck around for so long, is because it's something that doesn't exist in the real world, yet is truly horrifying to us as a people.
That is like really, really, really insightful.
Come for the game, stay really for the insights.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, right?
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, speaking of zombies and all of that, yes. I will share really fast. I said that my phone just rang.
Yeah.
It was my wife from who's upstairs right now. She texted me, and we've been going through this debate since we watched The Walking Dead on Sunday.
Okay.
Okay, and she noticed that Rosita, one of the characters, was wearing what looked like new sweatpants or leggings or whatever. I just thought it was a nice look from her backside, but that's besides the point.
Is it though?
I think Rosita's the hottest one in the whole show, but
Rosita's pretty hot, yeah.
But whatever. So it does that. So we go to bed that night, and she says, "I got a question for you." And she goes, "How are they getting new clothes in the apocalypse?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like, where's this going, Bon?" And she's like, they kill the zombies. And I'm like, "Oh, I really don't want to know where you're going with this." And she goes, "What if they if they stab the zombie in the head and it's like a newer zombie, like that hasn't really deteriorated?" I'm like, Are you like suggesting that they are making clothes out of human skin? And she goes, "Well, do you think it could be done?" And I'm like, I like moved to the side of the bed and I'm like, I'm gonna sleep over here now. So she texted me, and all she put in there was somebody already had an answer, a whole bunch of emojis and scary. And she goes, "Pig and human skin is very close. Medical studies actually do analyze a wound repair on pigs to represent humans because of structure, thickness, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Pig leather tends to stay stiff and can easily become brittle if you don't take care of it. Very breathable leather. It's also good. I presume human leather would work in the same way." So she's actually researching how to make leather out of human, and I'm done with being scared now.
She's gonna wear you, dude. She's gonna make you into a coat and she's gonna wear you.
Believe me, I love my wife, and we could have a whole nother podcast episode of some of the dreams that my wife has had, or even some of the questions that she has asked me. I love her. I love her dearly. I know that she listens to this, so baby, I love you, and please don't kill me in my sleep and wear me.
Just get
Hello, Clarice.
Yeah. Just get really bad tattoos all over your body so that if she did make a bodysuit, it'd be a really ugly bodysuit. Just, just hedge your bets. I would answer, Bonnie, and I would say, in the post-apocalyptic situation of a zombie apocalypse, you've got people turning into zombies, going out and dying and being gross and eating each other and all that. That's fine. That means they're getting out of their house and walking away. How much clothes do you have in your house right now? If you were both turned into zombies and you shambled out of your front door, how many nice clothes are you leaving behind? Not one pair, not two pair. You've got enough clothes for somebody, roughly your size for, a month probably. And so if you're talking zombie apocalypse, they might just be raiding neighborhoods and breaking into a couple of houses, find some nice leggings. And if you take care of them, you could wear them for, a couple of months before you get a couple of holes in them or whatever. You can stitch them up and then you get rid of them, get some new ones. There's so many clothes just lying around. That's all it is. They're not wearing people, you weirdo.
Yeah, I know. So, oh well.
It's a good option though.
Well, moving on.
Yes.
So actually, I know that where I was going with one of the things I was going to say, but I think we're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2, and I don't think we're going to give, obviously we haven't been able to play it. We don't have a copy yet. It comes out at the end of this week of us recording right now.
Yep.
But I know I'm getting it on day one. I know, Steve, you're getting it on day one.
Yes.
I know a whole bunch of people that are getting it just as far as personal, people that I know personally. Are getting it. We're really hyped about it. I think one of the biggest things, though, about the game is the map size.
Yeah.
I mean, have you heard about how big this map is and how big actually the download is?
I mean, the download's insane. It's somewhere around 100 gigs, which it's different between PS4 and 360 the Xbox. I want to say the Xbox is bigger. It's a larger install, and that might have something to do with like 4K graphics or something.
I
don't
think
know.
One's at 99 and one's at 107.
Yeah. Xbox is 107.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's absolutely insane.
I mean, the only thing that I can think that means is, cause the stuff that takes up the most space is dialogue and textures. And
Correct.
so if there's a ton of dialogue, which I've heard that there is, it's all rumor, but I've heard that it is, there's a ton of dialogue. And then if it's a texture thing, we're on high end systems now. If you want to see a crispy looking forest, you got to have the textures for it. So I would say that the majority of that is sound clips and textures, and that just bodes well.
I agree with you on that. Obviously the easiest one to say is graphics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're going to have this big size of a map, and obviously games are getting so much bigger because we have the space, we have the development capabilities to do that.
Yep.
So obviously if we want it to look great and in 4K, yeah, obviously that's going to be, but I think one of the bigger things too is that, so Skyrim predicted that, or kind of tried to do this, and some other games are getting this going very kind of good with it, like very kind of good. That's great English.
That's so gooder English speak.
Yeah. So like Assassin's Creed Odyssey does it,
Uh-huh.
but I think that this is going to be on a higher level, and this is why it's so much dialogue, is that in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you're going to pick a way that you want to go, a path you want to go, but your decisions will affect the interactions that you have, but you're still kind of on a linear path to finish a quest.
Yes.
Like you have to go from this point to this point, and you do whatever at this point, and then you get the quest done. In Red Dead, supposedly every decision that you make affects everything around you, no matter where you go. So, like for example, there was two people playing demo, and one guy saw this one guy and he killed him. Okay, when he was asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when he entered the town, they knew who he was, and they're like, "You killed our guy," and blah blah blah. So he wasn't accepted in the town.
Okay.
Now the other one is the guy helped him. He helped him, and he went to the town, and the guy ended up being like this big huge blacksmith.
Okay.
Or gunmaker, not blacksmith, but gunmaker, and was
Gunsmith.
like, "Go and you always have a discount at my shop," and people loved him in the city and or in the town, and you know, go and pick out a gun, you get a gun. So if there is this interaction of, if you make this decision and then this branch can go here, so your decision trees are all over the place.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to need that dialogue to back it up.
Yeah,
so
they need all the options. Yeah.
So I don't think necessarily it's going to be a measure of scale. I think it's going to be a measure of decision making. Of what?
Possibilities.
Possibilities. Which I think it would be really good, because they're saying that you're going to have the same story, but you can go about the story your own way.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one person's story per se can be the same.
That's really awesome. That's so cool. And that lends to replayability, which is cool. And it lends to water cooler talk. Like, oh, hey, I went to this town and I did this and that. Oh, wow, I went there and I did this, that, and the other thing. Oh, that's so different. Wow, you know. And if the game goes the hard line and says, if you do A, you cannot do B, you know, and vice versa, that's pretty cool. It can be frustrating sometimes, like if you find out later, like, oh, I killed that guy, but you got like the best revolver from him. And it's like, well, sorry, like you scratched that off your list. You know, you can't ever get that. That would be a bummer. But you know, then they could rejigger it and be like, okay, well, you killed the guy, so he's not going to sell you the revolver, but that cool revolver still exists in his shop if you want to break in and steal it. You know, like they could still do those kinds of things, and that's awesome. Dialogue wise, the one thing that I heard was that if you have, I might be getting this wrong, but I think it was if you have your mini map turned off when you talk to people and they give you directions, instead of quote marking it on your map and it showing up as like, oh, go here, they will tell you descriptions of where to go and how to get there. So if you're like,
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I heard that a while back, and I don't know, maybe it's completely false, but it sounds kind of realistic. It kind of reminded me of like the radio station stuff in GTA, or not the radio station, but like when you're driving to a thing and like they'll say something, and if you die in the mission, you got to do it again. The dialogue will be different on your way there. Like they recorded, 4 or 5 different, car chatting things, so it's not the same every single time, which is really nice. But like, if it was like, oh yeah, it's up in City 2, up the hill, Or like, oh, it's in City 2. If you go down the hill and you turn left at the big tree and you'll see it's off to your right past the lake, and if it's that instead of just marking on a map, I would be more interested in playing that way than with a mini map because I like the immersion, if possible. A lot of times I have to turn on subtitles in my game and I hate that, but I have to turn them on because I have to keep the volume down because it's nighttime and the kids are asleep. But playing my way, crank up the volume. So I might have to not do that. Otherwise I'd be doing a ton of reading. But if that is an option in the game, I am totally going to check it out because that sounds amazing.
It does. To just a little side note, this week I was able to, Bonnie did take the child, and they went shopping for a bit, and I was able to turn the surround sound on and play Call of Duty, and that was fucking awesome. Like, I just cranked it.
I love
and then
that.
I have, and you've seen this because you've seen pictures of my basement. I have a ledge that has like RGB lights that can flash to different colors or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have a sensor right near one of them, and it's right near the speaker to the surround sound. So I can put it on sensitivity and it will flash different colors. It's like every time I shot my gun, the lights were going on. It was awesome.
That's amazing.
Oh
man.
But I think exactly. I like that immersion. In fact, I kind of like that about once again, going back to Assassin's Creed. They had that where we can tell you exactly where to go, or you can try to explore where to get to go and find things.
Yeah.
You got that point. You got the option at the beginning of the game. I think the thing that will separate this though is Rockstar has very unforgiving games. You make a decision, you better make that decision because this is what's going to happen. And if that happens, then it happens and you're done. Yeah. Whether or not you like it or not. I mean, and that's the one thing I kind of respect about Rockstar.
Sure.
I mean, they don't care. Like, they're like, we're going to make this and this is what's going to happen in the game. We're not going to cater to people. I mean, just look at the GTA stuff. Look at the boundaries they push with GTA.
Sure. Yeah.
I think the only game that they ever caved in on, and I was kind of pissed off about it, but I understand why, so I can't hold it, was Bully. Remember in Bully, you were supposed to be the bully.
Yes.
And then they changed that and they kind of made you like the hero.
Yeah, you were being bullied, or you were like, it was more like an anti-hero thing. Yeah.
So they kind of changed that because of the initial things. So I think that's really the only time they ever caved, and I think that's why we'll never really ever see a Bully 2.
Okay.
Because I think they want to make a game, but it's not the game that they wanted to make. And I mean, Bully was good, but I don't think Bully was. I think they kind of put that in the past of like, well, yeah, we're going to say we did it, but we really don't like to talk about it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I mean, Bully is I didn't finish it. I played some of it, and I want to say, like, because of the subject matter and because of the American school system and what it goes through from a day-to-day nowadays, I don't think they can touch and do a Bully the way that they want to. They can't. They just can't do it. I mean,
it'd be way too controversial.
Yeah, a true bully now is either cyber stalking somebody or shooting up the place, right? And both can have deadly consequences, and that's just not funny. That's not fun. I would be okay if they did it in like a 1950s bully, right? Where you've got like think about like Back to the Future, and you got like McFly and you've got Biff and like that kind of bullying, which is like they kind of had a bit of that like retro-y, but like the whole thing with Rockstar is they do, oh geez, what's that called? They make fun of the subject. They
patronize it.
Patronize it? No. Geez, why can't I think of the word? It started with an S, I think. It's an S word.
Satire?
Satire. Thank you so much. They do satire, right? The whole thing with Grand Theft Auto is it's a satire of American criminal culture. Even with Red Dead Redemption, it was a satire of the Old West. There are no, like, it's not a historical period piece. It's not like how Assassin's Creed says, we're making the city, we're trying to make it as accurate as it was to the time period and blah, blah, blah. That's not what Rockstar does. And it was the same thing with Bully, is they were doing this satire on being a bully. And I think the only way they could get away with doing not even a sequel, but just like, I wouldn't even call it a reboot, just like another one. It would be like, 1950s, 1940s, 50s, that kind of, that style. Cause that was a different era, and an era that you can do a satire of, and people might be interested in it. To do it with current days, no, nobody would think that's funny. It would just feel like it's in bad taste.
Absolutely. And I think that's why they won't do it.
Yeah, no, it's not that they can't. It's just that they won't, because it's in bad taste. Even with Grand Theft Auto, like, they toe the line with a lot of that stuff that they put in there. And if you are, a cop, or if you're in law enforcement, or if you are a criminal, like, some of that stuff in there, you'd probably, as you're playing, you're like, that's not really that funny. But I guess if you're not, in the life, then it is kind of funny. I don't know. But
no, I agree with you. Like we said, I just think it will end up hurting their image as a powerhouse developer. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Why did you need to do this? You didn't need to do this. And I
Max
think that's why we won't see a Bully.
Max Payne was, that's Rockstar too, isn't it? And Remedy?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think Max Payne is.
I have had this mouse pad. I'm showing it to you. People can't see it.
Oh, wow.
It is the original mouse pad that came with the first Max Payne PC game. And it's been my mouse pad ever since I bought that game. And so I look down every day, I grab my mouse, I see New York, Fugitive Undercover Cop, Nothing to Lose. Max Payne.
That's awesome.
That's a great series.
That's awesome.
But again, satire on the whole, detective noir deal.
Correct. Just a little bit of other information about this, and obviously we're going to be covering our reactions on our next episode. But it is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, the first one. It's set, so it's not set before that. And then, let's see, it's set in 1899. It follows the story of Arthur Morgan, a member of the Dutch Van der Linde gang.
Yes.
I wish, the online aspect, I wish we can, name our own gang, because I got a couple of ideas for that, but I don't know if you can or not. There is going to be an open, there is going to be an online multiplayer component. You can create your own gang and do bank heist and basically be outlaws. But obviously they do have a single player aspect to it. They're saying that it's going to take around 60 hours to complete the story. But remember, depending on what you actually do and how you can, you can go on for hours in this game. I guarantee it.
If that 60 hours is just the main quest, that's just huge. Because side quests will double that probably. If you go and want to do everything on the map, you're talking, 120, 150 hour game probably. That's incredible.
And they're saying that this is the biggest map that they've ever done.
I've seen the map.
I wasn't going to spoil. So, I haven't seen the map.
Okay.
I've kind of taken it upon, because we were talking about this in our Discord. Once again, join our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Talking a little bit about this is, we have one person that just hasn't been watching any of the trailers.
Oh,
he wants to be completely surprised.
That's cool.
He doesn't want to have any of, he's getting it. He just doesn't want to know anything about it. He was completely surprised about it. So, I've kind of taken that after I watched the first, 2 official trailers, gameplay trailers. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, I got a gist of it. Now I'm kind of done with it. What I was talking about earlier, the game will continue to use the honor system from its predecessor, Red Dead Redemption, which is based on how players' interactions with non-playable characters and NPCs will affect how settlements, towns, and other groups will react towards Morgan, which cool. I think is really, really cool. The other thing, too, that I want to talk about is, a lot of these open worlds have empty spaces.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
So, and what I mean by empty spaces is either you run and there's nothing there, or you can go to a building, and if you realize it, all you're doing is you're hitting a line that you have to go up. You're hitting a part of data, a part of the game development. that you have to go up. If you would actually move through that wall, there's nothing there. So there's nothing developed inside of that.
Sure. It's an empty shell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an empty shell. Supposedly in this, every building you can go into and it has an interior.
Huh. That's a bold claim.
That's a very bold claim.
With or without load screen?
Supposedly without.
See, that would be really, really awesome. Cause I know, like, we're talking Skyrim, Oblivion, like most buildings you could go into, but when you hit the door, it loaded up a separate cell, and then now you were in the interior space. You couldn't see through the windows, that kind of thing, and then you got loaded back out into the whole world. But yeah, that's really interesting. That's really cool.
Like, I don't think that there's any. I haven't heard anything that says that there's no loading screen, but I have heard that the progression through like CGI and story missions and like where people start to talk, NPCs start to talk.
Okay, yeah.
And to gameplay, there's nothing. It's a seamless.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So to me, that says that you should be able to enter anywhere also. So that's why I'm saying you're right. It's a bold claim that there is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, once again, though, it's like how many places are actually, think of the Wild West. What were settlements? You didn't have sprawling cities and all of that. You had, so
a big town had like one strip or like maybe a crisscross with, the saloon and the general store and like the doctor and the dentist and the barber, like a couple of shops above them. Above some of them, you would have some housing. And then other than that, it was just like people had their ranches, their farms, their pieces of land. So it wasn't, there are not these big concentrated building hubs. If there was a railroad went through it, like that was a big deal. Yes, that makes sense. I imagine just wandering around the wilderness, we will come across a lot of camps with like tents and stuff like that.
That's what I'm thinking too.
That's cool. Like, okay. So one of the bits that's been advertised is that the gang has its own camp that to me feels like a thing that you can upgrade and make better. Right? Like
I'm hoping like there's been a lot of information, but there's not a lot of detail. Like I think what they've done is that Rockstar came out and said, we can either have very condensed versions of this is what we're going to tell people,
mm-hmm.
and then people get to go and fun and explore it, or we can have 10 different trailers and explain every single thing, and then that aspect of like making it your own. People already have this preconceived notion, like they're trying to make it your own.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why they went down to a condensed version. Like they said a whole shit ton of information in their trailers, but they were very vague in their trailers.
Yeah, and they didn't show any gameplay. That's been like their hallmark, is they show story stuff.
That's what they're toting, is that everything that you saw was gameplay.
Oh. Okay.
But like I know what you're saying. It's like I didn't see any hub or HUD or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I didn't see, okay, he's going to take you from this mission to this mission and go on. It looked like it was all story.
Like, was it all cut? Like, it seemed like it was all cutscene, which, I don't know. Another bit was your relationship with your horse. Have you heard about the horse stuff?
Yeah, supposedly like the more that you use it or the better that you treat it and feed it and all of that, and you can brand it or you can color it or something like that.
Like something about the like grooming it was a thing. Like when you get back to your camp, you want to take the saddle off and you want to brush it down, and that forms a bond with the animal that then will increase its stats. Essentially gameplay wise, it'll increase its stats. So like the better you treat your horse, the better it will treat you. And I've always, in games, even in Assassin's Creed, it bothers me. You just jump on any horse and they all act exactly the same, right? Like maybe one's a little faster than the other, but usually you can't even tell. I like this idea of treating your horse as another character, as like a follower, like an NPC follower or something, instead of just a living vehicle, right? Horse vehicle. Correct. I really, really like that. I like the idea of like, oh yeah, I did this and this with my horse. And if it's or like, oh yeah, that horse died, so now my horse is this horse, like if you're going to get in a gun battle, you got to park your horse like a couple houses down because you don't want your horse getting shot, right? Like,
Yeah.
that should be a worry. It's not just, oh, the horse got shot. I'm just going to jump on this other horse instead. Or I'm just going to whistle and the horse is going to just appear behind me. You know, it'd be nice if like, you know, you've got to remember and like the horse does its own thing and like that, just all the horse stuff sounds interesting. I even, this is a small leak, and this is just a funny thing. There's a small leak. Somebody showed the horse pooping. And I got very excited because it looked like a good little animation. It looked like fun. It reminded me of, Metal Gear Solid 5 where the horse, you press a button and the horse dookies and that's fun. Anyways, horse poop confirmed.
Horse poop confirmed. Hashtag confirmed.
Don't do that.
Not doing it. I think that also goes into the other thing, and I think this will be the last thing we talk about before we get into our next topic. You have to be seriously aware of your surroundings. If you've been rolling in mud or whatever, they're saying that you're going to smell. You have to eat. You have to take care of your guns. Like if you go through water all the time, your guns will rust up and they will affect your accuracy and all of that.
Interesting.
So you have to maintain that. If you go into a cold environment, because supposedly there's mountains and there's snow, if you go into a cold environment, you have to get clothing that, you know, is like a coat or a jacket or heavier clothing that you have to have. So you have to prepare for where you're going. The other thing too is that you're only allowed to hold what you're able to hold, like in real life.
Oh,
like
that's great.
Yeah, so like, you know, in Grand Theft Auto, you had that weapon wheel where it's like, oh, now I just pulled out a minigun out of my pants.
Exactly.
You know, and no, that's not a joke for my penis. But,
I call it my pea shooter.
Did you ever watch Dr. Horrible sing-along blog?
Oh man, years
Neil Patrick
ago.
Harris, years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember much
Still
of it.
one of the best lines, and everybody knows this line. Everybody knows where I'm going to be coming from. This is when Dr. Hammer's talking to him. He's like, "And tonight I'm going to show her the hammer." And he walks off screen, comes back. Says, "The hammer's my penis."
I do remember that part.
Oh my god,
oh, that's beautiful.
So like you don't have a weapon wheel in this. You know, if you have two holsters, all you can hold is two holsters. And it depends on those type of holsters. If you have two handgun holsters, you can only hold two handguns.
Right.
If you have, a rifle holster, you can hold a rifle holster, or you can hold a rifle. That's it, or a shotgun, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Bow and arrow.
So, I don't know. I think there is a bow and arrow in there too, and all of that. So
it would make sense. Hunting and stuff. Yeah.
Correct. So I mean, I think it's going to be very interesting. On that, you know, supposedly your hair grows and your beard grows. So, and I mean, it's just those little things, but it's those little things that Rockstar has done over the course of what they've done or for past games. And that's what's made them powerhouse. That's what's made them a powerhouse studio.
Yeah.
It's just those little things that we're going to find. So that's what I'm really, really excited about. Now with that, so that comes out this Friday of where we're recording. Or the time that we're recording, that comes out Friday. We will be on Playing Online. So if you want to join our Outlaw gang, join our Discord and we'll figure out how to get you on. So, but our next thing that we're going to get into, and with it being Halloween coming up, we wanted to go over our top 3 scariest games that we've ever played.
Boo.
So I'm not sure how you want to do this. You want to go 3, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, or do you want to give yours and I'll give mine?
Let's go. Why don't you give yours and then I'll give mine?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first game that I'm going to talk about, and you got to promise you cannot laugh at me.
Okay.
Okay.
I promise.
So this game came out in April 1st of 1993. Now, I was born in 93, and I lived in a house that we really didn't watch a lot of horror movies, and we didn't really, I wasn't allowed to.
But you were born in 93?
I'm sorry, I was born in 83.
Okay, I was going to say.
The game came out in 93. I was born in 83.
Okay, got it.
But when it came out, I was still 9 years old. Like my birthday hadn't passed, so I was 9 years old. I was never really exposed to horror movies. I never really watched them. I think the scariest horror movie I ever watched was, and I don't even think it was a horror movie, was The Crow. Okay. So my father installs a CD-ROM. He got a computer and he installed an actual CD-ROM drive. Okay, and the game that came with it was The Seventh Guest.
I've heard of this game.
And basically is you are in this house and you are following all these other people around and there's just scary things that happen and the music was scary and it just scared the shit out of me. I don't know why. I hated when my father would play it. When he would play it, I would go upstairs. I couldn't even be in the same room when he was playing it.
Wow.
Because it just scared me. Like the whole beginning of it, it was like this one guy, he was like a doll maker, but the dolls like caused kids to get sick and all of that. That he would it was just so it was so messed up. Henry Stolf was the guy that made it, and you basically go to his mansion, and you follow these other people around, and you do different tasks and all of that. And I couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle it.
What type
that was
of
my number 3?
What type of game was it? Was it like a adventure, like a point and click? What?
Yeah, it was like point and click.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
cool.
So you would go to different rooms and you would have to do different puzzles in each room, and then each thing would give you like a scenario, and you would see people die. Like I remember there was one time I did glance at it. My dad was in the kitchen and he clicked on the pot and like a hand came out of the pot and all of that. And
creepy.
I mean, it was, now I would look at it and be like, how in the hell was I scared? It scared the shit out of me and I hated it. The sequel to it was called The 11th Hour, and can't even tell you what that one's about.
Okay.
Because I just stayed away from it. Number 2 is a game called Siren for the PlayStation 2.
I have not heard of that one.
Okay, so Siren, you went through this the village of Hanuda, and basically everything was done by like the butterfly effect.
Okay.
So like anything that you did would affect everything else. And basically you possess the power of like psychic ability, and like there's something like you walk around like it's so weird, like it's so like I don't want to call it like snow, like if you're watching TV snow, but like it was so dark, like when you're walking around and like when you look through binoculars or whatever, it was like that straggly thing, and you would just see like these kids or these characters would just be walking around and they're just kind of like ruthless zombies, but they were just it was I can't even describe it. It was just like you would walk through this. Well, here I'll set the plot. It's hard to describe it, so I'll just read it from Wikipedia. I just pulled it up. So Siren is set in a Japanese village named Hunada. With strong religious beliefs important in the area, the locals keep to themselves and have sought to keep Hunada isolated from the outside world. Following the interruption of a ritual near Hunada, a subsequent earthquake. Sorry, I can't read. The village teeters between time and space, with an infinite sea of red replacing the mountain's territory. The crux of the story focuses on the efforts of Hisako Yo, the leader of a local religion, to resurrect or reawaken a god through a ceremony. The siren of the title is the god's call, summoning Hunada's residents to immerse themselves into the red water, thus creating an army of subordinate called Shibutu. The Shibutu then go on building a nest to the house of the gods of the corporal form once it's summoned, as well as killing and converting any remaining humans left in Hunada. The story is told through the perspectives of 10 survivors, some of whom are natives to Hunada, and is present out of chronological order over 3 days in which the plot takes place. So that's what I was saying is like you like are these different characters, and it's through this 3 days that you watch this story. So you kind of keep replaying this story over and over with these different characters. And it's so freaky. It really is freaky.
That reminds me of did you ever watch Lost?
No. I know what
Lost.
you're talking about though.
Okay. Yeah, when the plane crashes in Lost, spoilers for the first 5 minutes of Lost, they revisit that same plane crash from different people's perspectives over and over throughout the course of the series, and you kind of learn more about, stuff, and you could see the other people. And so whenever a game does something like that, it's kind of what I think of. If they just showing the same thing from different perspectives, and it's an interesting storytelling technique. I like it.
Yeah. So that one just kind of that one kind of played with my head a little bit. Okay. And then my last and number one scariest game, and people are going to laugh at me for this one, but I thought it was scary, was a game called Obscure.
Never heard of it.
PlayStation 2 again.
Okay.
Came out in 2005. And basically, you control 5 different teenagers as they explore their school and battle a number of different types of infected students. The students discover that the enemies are sensitive to light, with direct sunlight being able to destroy them. Flashlights help to slightly weaken their foes, but you still have it to attack, and you gotta shoot. Students later come across Herbert, who has killed a teacher by seeking the cure himself of the infective caused by Herbert's experiments. Herbert's twin Leonard sees his dead brother and becomes angry. He murders the teacher and then leaves the teenagers to defeat the biggest mutant yet. And then after defeating them, they return to the gym and inject themselves with the cure. So I basically gave away the whole game, but
how dare you?
But I mean, it's so old. But like you play as 5 different playable characters, but you can always have somebody else controlled by the computer join you on other ones.
Okay.
It was like a top-down. I don't want to say it was a top-down. It was like if you take a top and then just slightly like turn it. So like if you're like
isometric
in the corner,
view. It's isometric.
Yeah. And then you would just go around and you would go and do these different puzzles and things would just jump out, and it was freaky. So those are mine. So the 7th got Siren and Obscure.
Wow. Okay. I have not played any of those, so that's interesting. I'm glad I never did, because now I'm less scared in life. All right, here's my 3. Ready?
Go.
Number 3. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Okay.
Do you know?
I haven't played that, but I heard that it messes with your head.
Yeah, and so this game, I played it on PC, and it's a story about mental illness, essentially. And very, very rarely does a game pull that off well. It just, something comes across as being crazy. Like it's very binary in a lot of games. Like you're crazy, you're nuts, or you're fine. This one, your main character, the character that you're playing as, the Senua, you are in her head, right? You're playing, she's in front of you. It's a third person thing. But you hear and you see what she sees, and she sees things. But more importantly, she hears things. She has voices in her head that are constantly talking to her. And they did like the best audio I've ever heard in a video game. Because when you play it wearing headphones, it sounds like people are just or one person with multiple voices are just all around your head, whispering at you. And she's narrating the game like, the whole thing is she's taking her husband's head into the afterlife. Like she's physically taking it there. It's been a while since I've played and I never finished the game. It was one of those where I was like, oh, this is so intense. I got to come back to it later. And I just haven't. But the whole time she's like, I'm doing this for these reasons. And then in her head, it's like, no, you're not. You're failing. You're no good. Like just constant barrage into your head. And so you really get into the mindset of this person and what they're dealing with. And the game does have a lot of puzzles, and the combat is okay. It's very much like, now combat's happening. Now combat is over. Like the other little bit of the game is that you have a limited number of lives, and they don't tell you how many you have. Every time you die, a bit of your arm starts turning black, and the voices in your head talk about like if the sickness gets to your head, you'll die forever. And so like you die and there's a cutscene and you see the black grow a little bit and then you just kind of restart from your last save point and the black, stays there. And so that's the other like kind of horrifying part of the game, I guess, is that you don't know when the death is your last death, right? So every time you're in combat, it feels more real because you only have a limited, you can't just keep going until you figure out like, oh, I keep fighting this boss until I figure out its pattern. Okay, now I can beat it. No, because every time you die, like the game might end. You don't know how many lives you have. So that kind of adds the sense of urgency and the sense of realism to the game. As the voices are whispering that you're going to fail in your head. And the visuals are amazing. It's this whole like Norse underworld, kind of Celtic thing going on. It's cool. It's a really awesome game. And it's not like jump scary, but you get into this other world and it's creepy and it's different and you don't know when it's going to end and you're got voices in your head and it's very real. It's just kind of this incredible experience type game.
I heard that game, it does just from the audio. Mm-hmm. Like they say to play it with headphones on.
Oh, for 1,000%. Yes. That's the only way to play it. Yeah.
So okay. Number two,
and this one's going to come out of left field a bit. Gone Home. Did you ever play Gone Home or know what that is?
No. I don't even know what it is.
Okay. It might be a PC. No, it's not only on PC. I'm going to look it up real quick because I should have the wiki article up and now I have. Let's see. Gone Home was developed by the Fulbright Company. Let's see. It's on Linux, Windows, OS X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. And it came out in 2013 on Windows.
It just got released on Switch.
Yeah, just in September, it just got released on Switch. And it is essentially a walking simulator where you come home, you've been away at school, and you come home, and your parents should have met you there, and your younger sister should have been home, but nobody's home. And so you're it sounds so boring, but you're walking around this house trying to piece together what happened and why they aren't there. And the game, it's slight if this is a game that sounds interesting and you've never played it before, like fast forward a couple minutes because you don't want anything ruined. I'm going to do very, very minor spoilers. But essentially you're going around, you're solving little puzzles and you're getting pieces of story. But the vibe of the game is that something horrible happened and at any moment you're going to turn the corner and like find a dead body or a corpse and you just don't know. It's just you're in this big empty house and like you as the character know like this is your home. You've just been away, but like something happened. Like you walk in and you forgot your keys and so you have to like do this little puzzle where you have to find like, oh, you have to lift up the rock and the keys under it and you got to do all that. And you get inside and your character's like, hello, where's everybody? And you look around and it's like, just nobody's home. But then like you look over and like a chair's knocked over, but that's it. You're like, that's weird. Why is that chair knocked over? And then you go down the hallway and it's like these little things are like a little bit off. And as the story progresses, as you progress through the house and as more of the story unfolds, you get this really sinking feeling that by the time you get to the very end of this, it is not going to go well. And so the entire game just has this sense of, exploration and dread all rolled into one. And there's gameplay wise, it's like a walking simulator and a puzzle game. Cause you're just like, you come to a room and the door's locked and, how do I find the key or to go around here and, figure things out. And it's just a house. It's not like a creepy mansion. It's just a big house. But there's some hidden things and there's some secrets that you come across and you start to learn things about your parents that you never knew. And then you come across audio logs, like tapes from somebody who like talks about, what is happening leading up to whatever happened that made your parents and sister leave. Right. So I don't want to give away any more than that. I've been very vague on it, but it's a game that'll take you maybe 4 or 5 hours to play. right? It's not an overly long thing, but it's like an experience game. I've only played it once. I'll only ever play it once. I don't need to play it again. But I highly recommend it. And just for its sense of dread of like, where is this story? This is not going to end well. You just have that unsettling feeling the entire time. The puzzles are good.
I'm looking at photos right now of just different parts of the game, and it looks freaky.
Yeah, and it's like it never. So, I mean, it's not a spoiler because it never happens. But throughout a lot of the game, I thought something paranormal was going to happen, but it never did. But it felt like it was going to. Like if like a ghost had popped out suddenly, it wouldn't have surprised me at all. But it's just that you think it's going to happen, but it never does, and so you just kind of. Again, just kind of on edge the entire time. It's a very interesting game. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to like have that kind of experience once, right? Like this isn't a replayable game, but it's cool.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. So number one,
The Forest.
I've heard about it. I've always wanted to play it, but then I've always heard that it's a horrible game.
It is and it isn't. So The Forest is, let's see, I don't know. It's on, it's through, I got it on Steam. Let's see, it's on the PlayStation 4 and Windows are the only two places that it's available right now. It's on Steam. It's got a 9 out of 10 and Google users 97% like the game. The thing is, I started playing The Forest when it was, early access. So I got, very early builds of the game. I was playing it, years ago, it feels like. Initial release date was 2014. I think that's about when I got it. It was several years back. And now I think it's in a final state or close to a final release. I'm not 100% sure. But essentially what happens, the game starts, you're on an airplane, you've got your son sleeping next to you, and then the plane crashes. And it's like a series of flashing lights and things happen. You wake up and some weird naked dude picks up your son and takes him away and you pass out. And then you wake up and you play the game. And so you're on an island. It's called The Forest because this island is just like a giant forest. And the forest is really well done. It's not like, it doesn't look like Red Dead Redemption 2 forest, but it's a really good, really well done forest. And in the fact that leaves move, branches move, leaves fall from the ground, there are birds flying around, there is a lot of movement, which is rare in a lot of video games to see the background moving so much. And the reason why they did this is because as you're playing, little critters, little creepy people will dart and run around and try to attack you. So as you're playing the game, and essentially it's a survival game, right? So you go out, you find a stick, you find a rock, you go into your inventory, you make a hammer, you start, or make an axe, you start chopping down trees. And the tree chopping mechanic is excellent because you don't just hit a tree until it falls. You have to hit it and go around the trunk until you've got all the pieces, and then it falls over, and then it kind of does a thing where it like loads like logs on the ground that then you can pick up and move around. So
like you can't have it fall onto your settlement?
It can, but it doesn't do any damage, I think. Okay. The main thing is that it's not like you hit something and then it like dissolves and then now you have wood in your inventory. You chop a tree until it falls down. And so it takes time and it takes noise and is something behind you right now. Like that's what the game is doing. So it's a survival game. You have to worry about sickness. You have to worry about sleep. You have to water, food, all those things. So you're running around this forest. You find different campsites and things are messed up. You can find these, this like tribal, creatures, whatever it is. You can find their areas, and they've taken people's bodies and just mutilated them in awful ways. That's very creepy to come across. And it's just survival. And there's a day-night cycle, and you have to be on your guard at all times, right? Like the only thing that scares them away is fire. And when you start the game, you have a Bic lighter, and then you can build things. Like you can build bonfires, you can build fires on stakes to like surround your area. But that's the only thing that will scare them away. Otherwise, they'll just keep coming at you. And so it's very creepy. It's very, again, like, you're playing and like any kind of movement, you're like, what was that? What was that over there? Like, is that one of them? And they're very quiet until they get close to you.
So you're in constant paranoia.
Constant paranoia. And they will come up to you. They will demolish you in a couple of hits. Like and so the first time they kill you, they quote, kill you, you wake up suspended upside down in a cave that's pitch black.
Uh-huh.
And you like reach down, like your hatchet had fallen down. And so you pick it up and you cut yourself down. And now you're in some cave system and you have to, again, just survive. Like that's your one chance. The next time they kill you for good. And in this cave, there's a bunch of other people that are hanging and body parts. And there are also like creepy non-human entity things there. That's kind of higher tier and I haven't played the game enough to kind of get to that place. But man, it's creepy. It's one of those games where I'm like, I'm going to play some Forest. And then like after about an hour, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done. Like I need to
playing Forest. Yeah.
I'm going to put it down for a while. Cause like I really enjoy, and you can play on like pacifist mode or something where the enemies aren't there. And in that case, it's just a nice survival game where like you have to find food and you have to cook it and you can like catch rabbits and there's wildlife and there's all this stuff and you can build a little cabin and do all that kind of stuff. And that part is like super fun. It's a really nice little survival game. It's when the creepy things come out and you have to like watch your back and like figure out like I need to build a bow. I need to have something better than this dumb axe to try to kill them with. Like, and then they get you and then next thing you know, you're hanging upside down in a cave and yeah. So that's the awesome. Forest. Yeah. I've got a couple of runners up real quick. I wanted to go over that didn't make the cut because originally we're doing top 5. So, two others, Outlast. I bought that and I think I played about 20 minutes, put it down and went, nope, not playing any more of this. Too
Yeah, I think
creepy.
I played about 5 minutes of it.
Yeah. Again, they do the thing where it's pitch black, but you have a video camera and you can see things through the really grainy, like lens of the camera. But then the batteries will run out. Like that was just too much for me. I was like, no, no, thank you. No, thank you.
If I have to pick my one, I have one runner up.
Yeah.
And the only reason that I didn't put it in there, is because I have never actually purchased the game.
Okay.
I've only played the demo on the PlayStation VR.
Oh, okay.
And I'm too scared to buy the game.
What game is that?
And it's called Here They Lie.
Here They Lie. Okay.
Like you're in a sewer and you're walking around and like there's one, and obviously it's VR, so you're looking all around.
Sure.
And it's dark and you only see shadows and you hear creepy things. Like I walked into one room and there's a thing that I didn't even know what it was. It just attacked me out of nowhere. Like just jumped at me. So like I was like, nope. I want to play it, but nope. I like having clean pairs of underwear, you know?
Yeah. When it comes to both video games and movies, I don't like jump scares. I think they're cheap. Like, yes, they scare you, but they're really kind of easy to do and it's not that fun. I like the more like creeping dread, like the horrific part of horror games. And so like Outlast.
You're waiting for something to happen and it doesn't necessarily happen, but then when it does, you're scared out of your gourd.
Exactly. So like Outlast to me was too jump scary. Like it's every single second it felt like something was going to jump out at me. Like I don't need that in my life. Like my heart rate is fine where it's at right now. But like The Forest, you got that paranoia, that sense of dread. Even same thing with Hellblade. It's got that anxiety kind of with the game. Gone Home, again, the sense of dread at like something bad has happened, like in a more story context than in a gameplay context. My last one that I wanted to talk about real quick was Project Zomboid, which
never heard of it.
It's still in early access, through Steam. It is it's a zombie survival game where it's a isometric game. A lot of the graphics are 2D or they might be 3D now. Again, I've played it for a long time. There's been a lot of iterations, but you wake up and it's been like the zombie apocalypse has happened and now you're just like a dude and you have stats and all that kind of stuff. But it's a game, like the game starts with, the zombie apocalypse happened, these are all the bad things that are happening. This is the story of how you died. And then the game starts. So like, the game knows like you're not going to make it. Like this is just about surviving as long as possible. And again, you have to worry about food and water and all that kind of nonsense. But in the game, like running around, and something I've never seen in any other game is that your character can get scared. So they have these little things called moodlets that show up on the side of the screen. And they're like a hunger would be like a little sad face with like a stomach or something, or like a fork and knife, right? And so it's shorthand for knowing what your character is feeling. Well, if you round a corner and suddenly there's a zombie there, they get like this scared moodlet where like suddenly they're freaking out. And so like that affects gameplay. And then there's a lot, like sound is a huge thing in that game. Like you have to be very careful. Like you don't run in that game. You walk, you creep around corners. If you run, they're coming after you. If you are trying to break into a house and you break a window too loud, they're coming after you. Like you have to be very, very careful in that game. And just like, it's almost like a control thing, like your controls, which reminds me of like Resident Evil, the PS1 Resident Evil, where part of the reason why that game was so scary is because the controls were bad. Like I gotta move. Yeah. Like how do I, like there's the camera's not moving. Like which direction do I'm dead, you know? And
Yep.
So
I remember.
This game has some of that in it where it's like, how do I control? Cause it's, you like, there's like a walk button, but then there's also like a direction button. You also can only see in your cone of vision. So you're constantly like spinning, like turning around, because wherever you're looking, you can see what's there, like this nice triangular cone of vision. But when you look away from whatever it is, anything that's not a building slowly just fades away. So if zombies are walking at you and you turn away from them, they just slowly fade away to being invisible because you're not looking at them and you don't know where they are. It's an interesting game. It didn't quite make the list because I haven't played it that much, and it's very kind of niche and it's not that scary, but there are some really like scary parts of it. It's an interesting game.
Okay.
And I
got to check that out.
Still early access. They're still doing like the last couple of months they added vehicles to the game. So and it's very okay, what's the last part I want to say about this? It's very real to life in the fact that you have a car, you need to find the car keys. Where are the car keys? There's no quest to find the car keys. Look in the houses nearby to see if the car keys are there. Or you just kill the zombie, loot its body, there's some car keys on it. Well, which car does this go to? Doesn't tell you. You know, and in the game, that those keys match one car. So like, it's just like in real life. If you would like knock somebody down and take the keys out of their pocket, you don't know where they live. You don't know where their car is, right? Like you just have these keys. So right. Sometimes you find the keys in the car. You turn the car on, it is extremely loud and all the zombies all across the neighborhood will immediately run at you. So yeah, anyway, it's a very interesting game. It's cool.
You got to send me a link for that, or I got to remember that. That actually, I kind of want to check that out.
Project Zomboid. Yeah, check it out.
Cool. Well, I think that will do it for us this week. First off, just wish everybody a happy Halloween, because you probably won't hear from us until after that. So, happy Halloween. Be safe. All of that. And check us out anywhere that you find podcasts. Like I said, you join our Discord. Our link is right there. On the iTunes or the Google, or go to Podbean and you'll find us out there. Join our discussion. If you want to hear something, you want to have a suggestion for a show topic, please let us know. We'll gladly accept those and put that in. But once again, I think we'll be good. I cannot wait to be a cowboy this weekend.
It's going to be so much fun.
So much fun. But no, have a good week, and talk to you guys later.
Bye.